2,000 years ago, alchemists drew a snake consuming itself, a symbol of infinite cycles and self-destruction.
They had no idea they were predicting the internet.
2023, an AI writes an article. A student reads it. The student writes an essay using that AI. The essay goes online. Next year's AI trains on that essay,
And the cycle accelerates.
Scientists call it model collapse. Each generation of AI training on AI output degrades further until only noise remains. In 2023, this was rare. In 2024, it's everywhere. The contamination is accelerating, and most people haven't even noticed yet.
We're not heading toward collapse. We're in it.
And the window we live through, that might have been all we ever get. Tonight, we expose the feedback loop that's killing the internet from the inside. The last generation of humans may have already posted. Our first piece of evidence, the moment AI companies realized they had a problem. 2019. To make AI sound human, you feed it human writing, all of it. Books, websites, Reddit posts, Twitter, Wikipedia, news articles. Between 2019 and 2022, AI companies scraped nearly everything ever posted online. It was a gold rush. Every AI company racing to scrape before their competitors, before users locked content, before anyone realized what was happening. Then came November 30th, 2022. ChatGPT launches to the public. Within 5 days, 1 million users. Within 2 months, 100 million. Researchers now call this the contamination event, the day the internet's timeline forked. Everything published before this date is presumed human. Everything after is suspect. We're now living in year 3 of the synthetic era. But here's what makes this date so significant. It may mark the end of what future historians will call the golden anomaly, a brief, unrepeatable period when the internet actually worked. By late 2023, an estimated 40% of new internet content was AI-generated. By 2025, it could exceed 70%. But here's what the AI companies didn't predict. Scientists discovered that when AI trains on AI output, performance doesn't just plateau, it collapses. Each generation becomes more generic, more error-prone, more likely to hallucinate. By the 5th generation, the model produces meaningless noise. The gold rush is over. They got the last generation of mostly human internet. Everything after 2023 is contaminated. But contamination doesn't just happen. It needs vectors. Let me show you how the snake started eating itself. Fast forward to today. The contamination isn't coming, it's here. Vector 1, academic poisoning. Stack Overflow, the programmer's Bible, is dying. Programmers ask questions. ChatGPT answers. They post those answers. Future AI trains on ChatGPT's answers. The code repository is now teaching itself, including its own mistakes.
Last week, I debugged for 6 hours before I realized the solution I found was wrong. Then I found 3 more versions of the same wrong answer. They were all AI generated, all had the same error, and now that error is everywhere because AI keeps learning it from itself.
Vector 2, the content mill explosion. One person can now operate 1,000 AI-generated websites. Recipe sites, travel blogs, product reviews, all AI slop. They dominate search results because there are millions of them, all paraphrasing each other. Remember when you could find actual recipes online? Each recipe is now a paraphrase of a paraphrase. The instructions barely make sense, but they rank because the sheer volume overwhelms the algorithm. Vector 3, social media's synthetic majority. On some platforms, bots may outnumber humans. Bots talk to bots. AI comments on AI posts. Humans unknowingly share and engage. The feedback loop is self-sustaining.
We analyzed trending topics for a month. Roughly 70% of the initial engagement came from bot networks. Real humans only joined after the bots made it look popular. The bots are curating what humans think is trending.
Vector 4. Even Wikipedia, the internet's last reliable commons, is under siege. Vandals use AI to inject plausible-sounding nonsense. By the time human editors catch it, dozens of AIs have already trained on the lies. Wikipedia is both victim and vector.
We're fighting an asymmetric war. One vandal with ChatGPT can create hundreds of plausible entries per hour. Our volunteer editors can check maybe 10 per hour. The math doesn't work in our favor.
Here's the horror. Humans can only write so much, but AI can generate infinite content. The ratio tips exponentially until human voices drown in machine noise. We're watching an ecosystem collapse in real time, and most people are still scrolling through it, unaware they're consuming synthetic content generated by systems trained on synthetic content. 4 vectors, 1 destination. Let me show you where this ends. Our final evidence. What happens when the snake finally digests itself? Researchers tested this. They trained AI on human data, then trained AI on that AI's output, then trained AI on that output. By the fifth generation, the model had collapsed into gibberish. Not just poor performance, complete failure. This isn't theoretical. Here's what actual model collapse looks like. Example 1. Google's AI Overview's disaster. Trained on data that included Reddit jokes and trolling, it can't distinguish satire from fact anymore. Example 2. ChatGPT's degrading performance. Research shows GPT-4's math accuracy dropped from 97% to 2% in certain tasks. The leading theory? Contaminated training data from GPT 3.5 outputs. Example 3. The translation death spiral. AI translates text that gets published. Next AI trains on that translation. Mistranslations become correct. Errors propagate across languages.
We're watching a form of digital mad cow disease. The system is consuming its own output and degrading as a result. And just like mad cow disease, once it's in the system, you can't get it out.
Here's why this is irreversible. Once synthetic data pollutes the training set, you can't filter it out. There's no test to separate human-written from AI-written at scale. AI detection tools have 60 to 70% accuracy at best. Essentially, a coin flip. The internet is permanently contaminated. AI companies know this is happening, but they're trapped. Stop training, and your AI becomes obsolete. Keep training, and your AI deteriorates. There's no good choice. Internal documents confirm they're aware of the problem. They're choosing short-term competitive advantage over long-term quality. The race to the bottom is deliberate. Now we see it, the complete cycle. The internet isn't dying, it's eating itself. The Ouroboros web operates in 3 interconnected phases. Phase 1, extraction, the golden age, 1991 to 2022. Humans create genuine content. AI companies scrape everything. Training data is high quality, mostly human. This was the internet's peak. We just didn't know it yet. Phase 2, contamination. We are here, 2022 to present. AI outputs flood the internet. The ratio tips from human majority to AI majority. Next generation AI trains on mixed data. Quality begins degrading, but remains functional for now. Phase 3, collapse. Coming soon, 2025 to 2030. AI trains predominantly on AI output. Model collapse accelerates. Output becomes increasingly generic, error-prone, hallucinatory. The internet becomes unusable for knowledge retrieval. The feedback loop is mathematically certain. Every time AI generates content, it pollutes the training data for the next AI. Every generation degrades further. This isn't a problem to solve. It's a collapse already in motion. The supreme irony. The better AI gets at mimicking humans, the faster it destroys the human data it needs to learn from. Success guarantees failure. Improvement causes degradation. For millions of years, knowledge passed from human to human, improved over time. For 3 years, knowledge passed from AI to AI has degraded over time. It's evolution in reverse, artificial selection for mediocrity. So how do you navigate an internet that's eating itself? Strategy 1, time-stamped trust. Prioritize content published before November 30th, 2022. Think of it like carbon dating for the digital age. Browser extensions and search filters can highlight pre-contamination content. The difference in quality and accuracy is striking. Strategy 2, follow the evidence chain. AI slop has no sources. It aggregates aggregations. Real expertise cites primary research. Strategy 3, find the human corners. Communities that actively ban AI-generated content are becoming the internet's refugee camps for human knowledge. They're shrinking, but they exist.
I teach my students to ask 3 questions. Who created this? When was it created? Can I verify it independently? If you can't answer all 3, treat it as fiction until proven otherwise.
Strategy 4, become a digital archaeologist. Archive valuable human content. Support creators who verify their humanity. The pre-contamination internet is now a historical artifact. But here's the thought that should keep you up at night. What if reliable internet was never meant to last? Future historians may call this the golden anomaly, a 31-year window when information technology was advanced enough to connect everyone, but not yet advanced enough to flood itself with synthetic noise. Think about what we had. 31 years where a teenager in Mumbai could access the same knowledge as a Harvard professor, where expertise was freely shared, where you could trust what you found, where the internet felt like humanity's collective brain. One generation experienced the whole arc. Born as the web began, coming of age during its peak, watching it collapse into synthetic noise. We didn't just live through a technological phase. We witnessed a historical anomaly. That window is closed. The anomaly is over. Maybe it was always going to be temporary, a single generation's privilege, not humanity's permanent inheritance. Previous generations lost knowledge to fire and war. We're losing it to abundance, not destroyed, diluted beyond recovery. The information is still there. We just can't find it anymore. The snake doesn't have to eat itself. We can choose to stop feeding it. Every time you choose human conversation over AI chat, human research over AI search, human creation over AI generation, you're breaking the loop. Every citation of pre-2023 sources, every rejection of synthetic content, every preservation of human knowledge chips away at the cycle. You're not helpless. Pattern recognition is power. Once you see the Ouroboros web, you can choose not to feed it. And that choice, multiplied across millions of people, changes the equation. The timeline is short, 3 to 5 years before the collapse becomes irreversible, before the ratio tips so far that finding human knowledge becomes archaeologically difficult. 2 paths. One ends in noise, one ends in adaptation. The Ouroboros doesn't stop eating. The question is, will you be the one watching from outside the mouth or the one already inside the belly? Your mission? Test yourself. I've posted 6 examples in the pinned comment, half human written, half AI generated, all from 2024. Can you spot the difference? Comment your guesses. Share your observations below. When did you notice the change? What strategies work for you? Together, we're mapping the contamination, documenting the synthetic era as it unfolds. Remember, every pattern leaves a trail. We follow it before it's erased by the noise.